Morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us for Sunday Civics again. I don't know why it's morphing into that name, but it's certainly becoming one of the best hours of my week because I get to talk about Niagara Falls and about the process and the civic process in Niagara Falls, because I don't always understand Niagara Falls. And I would like to. So to that end, we always try and have a guest that you can ask questions with. And it's the important part. You can participate and ask these questions rather than me. We will tape this show. We will replay it on the internet so that you can watch it anytime that's convenient. But this morning we have Ruth. Ruth, I'm looking at the list of who's watching. Evelyn Harris. Evelyn, I apologize for that. But Evelyn's from Create a Healthier Niagara Falls Collaborative. We're going to learn what that is. I've heard a lot about it through talking to Evelyn and Brian Archie over the past few months, but Evelyn will be here to take your questions on that. Evelyn, apologies for calling you Ruth, although that's hardly an insult to me. Ruth is a fine human being.
Ruth is a good person.
Right. Anyway, thanks for doing this. I really appreciate the hour on a Sunday morning.
Thank you.
What can you tell us a little brief intro to Create a Healthier Niagara Falls Collaborative? And I was marveling at the logo behind you because those are, one, tell a good story. That one's beautiful, and they're hard to get anyone to do those. So that is not to be taken lightly, the logo behind you. What is the collaborative?
Well, the collaborative came about, first of all, I started with the mayor's task group, and then that kind of morphed out, and then it became, we kind of got back together again, and with Shelley Hertzberg's leading us and being our mom and nurturing us to where we are now, we became a 501(c)(3), and we ended up with this name, Create Healthier Niagara Falls Collaborative, because we felt that there were a lot of things within Niagara Falls that perhaps if we got people together, we could reach out to the community and nurture and really develop something positive. It's been a long road, but it's been a road that I have enjoyed every minute of doing. We are 4 co-chairs, myself, Evelyn Harris, Brian Archie, Sarah Obach, and Kiana Dunn. We set our group up that way because we felt that we didn't want really a hierarchy. We wanted to have basically a group of people that we shared whatever we did and exchanged ideas that way. And we felt we were would be better at doing what we needed to do in the community. We specifically are very much pushing a healthier community, of course. We also are pushing, we did have a housing part of it, but that kind of like went by the wayside, and hopefully one day we'll be able to revisit that. The other thing is just the leadership participation, having residents start their own path in life. Like if there's something that they know that they want to do within the city that's going to help the city, then we also do teaching behind that and education behind that. Like we all say, the more knowledgeable you are, the better you are. So we have basically been here for, God, I'm talking like almost 10 years now. We do a walk the falls every year, and it's an event that we try to bring the community together and just go on a walk together. We bring people back, and then we kind of sit around. We have food most of the time, and I tell you to bring your kids, bring grandma, bring whoever you want, and we sit down and we have a conversation with each other. Unfortunately, with the pandemic last year, our walk was a little bit smaller, but we were able to have it. And this year, we hope it's going to be bigger and better. But we are here for our community. If there's something, like we were talking earlier about meetings, if somebody wants to have a meeting here in our facility, they can. We have a place now that people can come if they want to do some training, then we'll welcome you in. So, I mean, we'd like for people to come. We're at Pine Avenue. We're like where DiCamillo's is. It used to be a pet shop. We're right in that building. And most people know us by that because we're right next to Latina. So it's right on the main strip.
So Main Street, DeCamillo's is kind of off
Pine.
Main Street. You're
No,
on Pine.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, up Pine near DeCamillo's. Okay.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
your
we're
physical
right
location.
there. We're like DiCamillo, it's Germani's Square, and it's like
Oh, yeah, yeah.
it's like DiCamillo's is one side and we're on the other side.
Gotcha. And how often are you open? It's this mostly a volunteer effort, I imagine,
It's
right?
basically volunteer. I mean, all of us work full-time jobs, so you know, we basically we can give our number out to people, and that way they can call us if they need to or want to do something. But more or less, we you know, like less than something is here or we need to do something here, we can't be here 24/7 because we are volunteers.
Mm-hmm. So, okay, you're in touch with the community. I mean, the real community, people walking by, walking in and needing help, but not maybe even knowing what they need. They certainly need, you know, physical health information, but mental health goes hand in hand with that. What do you hear from people? What do they want or need or expect, or how are they feeling? What's the pulse of the city? I know it's
Well,
so you only have 50 minutes.
all right. First of all, you know, you will hear the complaints, but you know, we, for instance, we did a soup, kind of a soup-a-thon. We gave soup, like we went out into the community, we partnered with F-Bites, and we did this, we set up right in the community in different spots. But for me, the most positive and rewarding one that we did was when we did it inside of the towers, Robo Towers in, you know, Robo Towers and Spallino Towers. And the reason I felt that was the best one was because we connected with the older people, and they were we had so much positive feedback from them with their appreciation. And we also did that on the streets, and there were people that were pleased that we were there to give them something to eat, a hot meal. Mm-hmm. So I think that, you know, you're going to get that negative, but you're going to get a lot of positive stuff from people when you really actually talk to them.
Okay, so negative's negative. You know, it's either fixable or it isn't. Sometimes people are just complaining, but sometimes they're really, you know, saying, "I wish I could have this." What are some of the complaints that seem fixable, that seem real, that we could work on? Anything you could point on, because those are valuable things people tell you. Hey, I need more of this. I need more of that. It might be doable.
Some of it is just connecting people up with other people's, or for instance, you know, like a lot of people may not know about Heart, Love, and Soul and what they do, and as far as food and other things. Some people may not know that there are the community health center on Highland Avenue, that they have a dental clinic on the inside there. You know, those kind of things. Maybe someone may come and ask us a question about, you know, employment, or you know, maybe they may ask us about, you know, just, you know, where we can go and have some fun. So what will we do? We'll say, well, come down to the train station, get together with us and go for a walk. Mm-hmm. So, yes.
So you've been doing this for 10 years.
Yeah, well, for me, I've been in the game for a lot longer than that, because I started out in really getting into the community in 2010. I've been out in the community in other aspects because I'm also chair for SEIU, the union SEIU. And so being out in the community is not something that I'm not familiar with, but being on this side of it and helping the community is very special to me.
Mm-hmm. So if you can go back, I know you weren't probably on Pine Avenue the whole time, but if you can go back, you know, 10 years and then forward 10 years, you know, You have a lot of experience. What did you see from the past 10 years? Are we better? And in the next 10 years, will we be even better? What's your crystal ball? And your history. Go back 10 years. Are we better than we were 10 years ago?
In some ways, yes. In some ways, no. As far as the city connecting together, meaning the people connecting together and us understanding each other, I don't think that we are there yet, meaning that, you have the north end, you have the south end, you have all these little pockets, and we have not yet come together. And I think that that's something that's important. If we don't come together and actually sit down at a table and talk to each other, then I don't feel that we will go too far. But I think that that's something that is going to change. I see a future. And what I see is a lot of the young people here wanting to be in this city, wanting to do something in this city. And a lot of the people that are not young want to do the same thing. So I think connecting all of these peoples up and connecting up different organizations that are out there that we either don't know about or we know little of, bringing them all together and sitting down at the table, and discussing what our thoughts are would be a key instrument in going forward in basically like this group, civics, and understanding that you have power in your vote. If you put the right people in, then you are going to get some results because they know that you're looking at them. They know that, okay, these people interviewed me. This is what I told them. If I sit here and now turn that around and I'm lying to them, then I'm going to have a problem my next time when I get ready to run. So holding people accountable, that's important. And I think once we start going towards that, then the community becomes better. And I see it becoming better because just like in the past couple of years, just the young people that I talk to that really want to stay here and actually do something. And I'm talking about people who have degrees. I'm not talking about, just people, just randomly, oh, I want to do this. I'm talking about actual people that have degrees, that have their masters and their bachelors that want to stay here in this city.
Yeah. Of the city, I've had a person tell me, and he's an elected official, that we're a poor city, just get over it. That was kind of a defeatist I took it negatively. I don't know how it was delivered, but I took it negatively. Do you believe that? Is Niagara Falls all it can be, or can it be more?
Oh my God, yes, it could be more. I mean,
This is an elected official. This is a person that you just said we hold accountable.
Well, he needs to just go away. Because I mean, if he's an elected official and he's saying something like that, then what good is he doing for us? Nothing. As simple as that. So this is why, I can't wait until we start interviewing people and really pulling things out of these people that want to run for office, so we really know what we're putting in office. So no, I think that he is so wrong in so many ways. And I hope that you told him, you need to think twice about that the next time you speak to somebody or talk to somebody about this.
I'm just taking information. I'm just taking information. I ask everybody the same thing, and that was a quite honest answer. Like, I don't even blame him for giving me that answer. He believed it. I mean, he believes what he believes. If you were, I watch a lot of old movies, and last night on the old movie channel, The Wizard of Oz came on. For I don't know what reason, it always comes on like at a holiday, but it came on last night. And so, if you were the Wizard of Oz, well, that's the bad one. If you were Dorothy, maybe, right? What would you do? What was one thing you would do for the city of Niagara Falls if you were granted one wish? What would, what could be possibly done with all your experience and all you've done for, how many years in the city? I know, it's a tough question, but I'm going to ask you a tough question. What would you do?
You are, man. That is a tough question. God, there's just so many things, I mean.
I know, but what would be the first thing? You know, because one thing leads to another. So, I mean, what's the first thing, you know? Because here's what I found. As you're thinking, don't get distracted by my talking, but I'll tell you this while you're thinking, is that sometimes the number one problem or issue is not what you think it is, right? It's something else. You go ask somebody for this and, you know, they can't do it, or anyway, I'm finding, or I thought I found a while ago, that the number one concern I had about the falls was just depression, just absolute exasperation. Because when I asked, what could the falls do better? People threw up their hands. They said, there's nothing. We're at the end of our rope. I can't think of anything. Nobody's asked me. Why are you asking me that? Nobody's ever asked me before. You know, it was kind of just resignment to nothingness. I'd have to say that. And sometimes the answer was racist. You know, this is a racist place, or this is a depressing place, or we're a poor city, get over it. I didn't have anybody jump to the answer of, you know what we need is, and they gave me an answer. I've never had anybody give me an answer.
I think that I'm kind of thinking about this, and I remember actually it was a question that I asked Brian one time, and it had to do with first I asked him kind of the same thing. What would you do? And what could you, you know, like, what could you do? And then I flipped the question around and I asked him, what are you willing to do to help the city go in, or to help the city go in a new direction? And I think that my thought is changing people's mind and making them think about what they can bring to the table. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes we are always waiting for someone else to do something for us. We're waiting for this white knight to ride in and make everything just, you know, great. But sometimes I think we have to look within ourselves and say, okay, what can I do? How can I make this a better city? How can I even make myself a better person? You know, start thinking, what can I do better? You know, that's what my thought is. I mean, I think that there's not, you know, it's not just one person that can, or one of us that can save this city. It's going to be all of us, and it's going to be all of us working together.
Wow. Are you just stroking my ego? All of us are smarter than any of us. Exactly. I've come to that conclusion too. We're, you know, there's nobody from the outside that's going to do anything. We have to do it. And I think we've been waiting forever for somebody else to do it, and they're not going to do it. So we have to do it. But if we're going to do it, what are we going to do? That's where I am right now. Well, okay, what are we going to do? Money's not a problem. We have all the money in the world. So if we have all the money in the world, why aren't we doing what we want? And it's kind of that reverse problem. Like, you know, I mean, you and I have whatever money we have, but if somebody said you have $50 million, what would you do? We don't even think like that. I mean, we don't, because we're not going to get it, you know, so it's not a fair question. But, you know, if we were going to get, you know, I'll keep pointing out the situation on 3rd Street. The state has a preferred developer program, which I'm not even sure what that means. That sounds awful exclusive to me, preferred developer. But they gave a preferred developer a parcel of land and $8 million to rehab that parcel of land and then do what with it? I don't know. They own it forever. So I don't know. Is that a proper use of $8 million? $8 million. $1 million, we get sanitized to $1 million. It's a lot of money. So what if you took that $8 million and gave $50,000 to every independently owned business in Niagara Falls to spruce up their storefront? Is that a better use of the money? I don't know. I'm really just asking, is it okay to give $8 million to an out-of-town developer to develop a parcel of land? I don't know. Maybe it is. These are experts. But, you know, here's my thing, Evelyn. Here's my thing before you answer, because I can see you're going to answer, and I like it. I can't wait for you to answer. But everything that's happened has given us the city we have today. And again, if we want that city, we can end the discussion. If we want a better city, we can't end the discussion. We have to just start this discussion. So things like that $8 million have caused the city to be what it is today, or not, or maybe that 8 million is the chance for us to be the Wizard of Oz. I don't know, but there is cause and effect. The city is exactly the way it is today by exact actions that have taken place. And we either continue those same actions or there's new actions, but there are actions that cause things. It's not a mystery anymore. So go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. I feel that, I mean, my thoughts are that we need to do things from the bottom up. When you do things from the top down, then you don't accomplish much. We found that out when with the mayor's task group, because you had all of these people at the top that wanted to make, you know, all these changes, but they were not talking to anybody within the neighborhoods that they wanted to make the changes in. So I think that you have to start from the bottom. You have to talk to people, but then you have to have that asked, or you gotta know what direction you're going in, you know. And sometimes, you know, it's that decision making with everybody in the city included in it. Okay. And you need to make when you're making decisions about the city, you have to not just put it out and just give people like a couple of weeks to, or a week, or, you know, we're going to have a meeting, blah, 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 blah. And then you have them all these crazy times where maybe everybody can't get to it. You got to have a weekend time. You got to have a morning time. You got to have an afternoon time so that people can come and maybe make that vote. But also, you need to make sure that people are well aware of what you're doing. There are a lot of hidden things that people don't know about, that all these things that are going on and going around, but nobody's telling anybody about it until it's done. Okay, so you got to kind of win back the trust of the people. And then the people are the ones that need to act. Okay, and I think that we have enough people now. And I think we will gather enough people up, individuals that are intelligent, bright, individuals that can have a clear thought on some of the things that they want in this city, and they can bring something to the table from each neighborhood. And I really think that that's where I would like to see something like that go. And then once you have that ask, you have in your plans what you really want, then that's when you start going after government and going after the people that you know that can do what we need to have them do, or give us the money that we need to have to start these different programs, whether, like you said, giving somebody money to make their storefronts better, or giving money to an entrepreneur to start new businesses here. That to me is the direction that would be a good direction, I feel, to go in.
Okay, so I want to live in the world you just painted. I want to be on your team to do this. So how do we do it? Because last week, the state came to the state park and announced $46 million, and no one knew about it. And most of the reporters that I know were not invited. I think one reporter got invited. So how do we have the state not invite reporters to big announcements anymore, much less it seemed like nobody knew $46 million was coming. So I want to live in the world you just painted, and I seem to be living in the world that's the exact opposite. How do we get the bridge built?
Well, first of all, I think that we've got to know what our government is doing. I mean, we got to be nosy. We got to get right down and dirty and get in there with them, and also let them know, listen, you just can't come and do whatever the hell you want to do.
But they do.
I mean, because, we are not going to just stand here and take that anymore. I mean, we got to have, and I guess it means that we again need to be together enough that we are going to be able to you have to fight it sometimes. I mean, and I know what kind of fight that is. I mean, I could go back to when they were talking about closing Memorial, our hospital. And it's like, you know, some of us got together and said, oh, hell no, you're not going to do that. And then it meant that we had to go to Albany. It meant that we had to go all the way up to Washington to stop the closing of our hospital. So, you know, sometimes you just can't sit back and watch something happen. You have to get up and you have to do something, and that's work. That's hard because we all have jobs that we have to do. You know, because I mean, you got to have that house. You know, the mortgage people are not going to say, well, oh, okay, I understand that you up there trying to fight this here. That's okay. Don't pay your mortgage this month. There, you know what I'm saying? You have all these things that you have on your plate, but I guess, you know, sometimes you just got to get serious and say, we have to take this on. We have to change this.
Okay, so part of this focus where we can all be brought together would be to figure out what our first priorities are, and then all focus on that. And so your problem becomes my problem. We fix your problem, and then my problem becomes your problem. We fix my problem, right? So we determine what's the first problem. So let me stay on this thought of public information. Reporters, more than one, and all that I talk to, cannot get any calls back from government officials. Now, let's go to the top right now of Governor Cuomo holding press conferences in airline hangars and saying because of COVID, he cannot invite any media. He hasn't taken questions from the media for months. Kathy Hochul has never taken questions from the media. Kathy Hochul came to Niagara Falls under a cloud of secrecy and left and published it afterwards. So my point is, we can't expect a reporter to do a better job. Now, they're paid for it. Like you said, we're all volunteers. We can't keep up. A reporter's job is to do this. They can't do their job. The politicians are not, and I say politicians because it has become a profession to not return phone calls from the press. Some do, and some still are very good about it. Not most. It's almost become standard playbook now to never take calls. I'm not sure your mayor takes many calls. There's now a PR officer. Those used to be to funnel all the calls to the mayor to return. It seems to be now that they're to prevent any calls from getting through to the mayor. This is just the way I'm seeing it lately. But we can't expect better news coverage if they're not talking to the news. So how do we make the news reporters' problem our problem? Because it is a problem for them. They're trying to do better journalism and they're not able to ask a question. How do we do that?
I guess my thought then would be, you know, how about a couple thousand calls from citizens asking the question? I mean, basically, hello, I mean, if it's our mayor, whoever it is, you know, it's like, listen, you know, I'm a taxpayer here in the city. I'm a taxpayer here in the state. Tell me something. Why are we not getting clear? Why, I mean, we're supposed to be living in America. Why are only certain stations or certain reporters able to broadcast or, you know, bring the news to us when I know for a fact, and okay, and here are the names of these reporters that you are saying can't do this here. And I want to see a change in this, because if I don't see a change in this, then you can tell these people that they will definitely not get back in next election. It's, to me, that is the only way to go. We have to do that. I mean, you know, it's our right to know this information. Okay, I mean, it's our right to like find out. I guess myself, I want to know why. I mean, now you've got me interested in why. That's my question.
What I want you interested in, and I just mean this, if we talk like this, you will now be exposed to somebody else's problem. We never even knew this was a problem until, you know, you talk to a reporter and they're like, hey, I'm trying the best I can. They won't return calls. So once we learn that, you're right. You're absolutely right. I don't know what your problem is. You don't know what mine is. We don't know what a reporter's is. So this communication is what I'm about with civics. Is just like, I didn't know. You know, there was that old, I saw it on MASH, but it's probably as far back as Aesop's Fables, right? Is that in order to solve my problem, I needed on MASH. It was in order for Hawkeye to get new boots, he had to get the boot officer
Right.
to give him a microwave. The microwave guy needed dental care, right?
Right.
So we're going down that rabbit hole of how do we get questions answered? I don't know, but we need to know it's a problem, and that we can't get better journalism until we get, public officials to answer a question. Another thing, even more egregious, Evelyn, is that that's the elected official. But if there's another person in the office, like a department head, they're forbidden to talk to them. They can never, ever speak to you. You can call them, Evelyn. You can call 10,000 people and get them to call that person. They won't talk to you. I'm an appointee, go through the public information of there's a process. Well, we're a small city, 45,000 people. Hello. I mean, just talk to us, just talk to each other. You live down the street. What's the problem? We've become this. Now, again, if you're paranoid, like I was named after Doubting Thomas, right? I was christened after one of the apostles, Doubting Thomas. I start to think something's wrong if you won't talk to me. It might not be, but that's just me. If you won't talk to me, something must be wrong. That's not right. I could be wrong, but I'm just saying that's my human spirit. So anyway, I don't
think your spirit is wrong. I really don't. I don't think, and I think that probably everyone that's on right now probably feel the same way that we do, about this, because it's just, it makes you crazy, because you're right. There's so much out there. There's only so much that we can do, but I guess the thing that you have to decide is, what do you want to tackle first, and what do you want to go after first, and what's going to be, what is going to move that needle the most, like that's, what I'm saying, what's going to move that needle to, even if it's on an inch, what will move it, opposed to what will not move it at all.
Yeah. So, okay. So I'm stretching this out because I'm not going to let you go without trying to answer that question, but I'm going to give you till 10:25. But, so I'm the Wizard of Oz now. I'm the wizard, and I can offer you 1 million residents. Do you want that? I've talked to some people who said, I don't want 5,000 more residents. I don't want a traffic jam. I don't want to have trouble getting down, So different perspectives here. But, if we could bring 1 million residents to Niagara Falls, residents, tax-paying, living in apartments and houses and shopping at Tops, Wegmans, and DeCamillo's, it's tough to get your head around too. Do you want that many people? I mean, that's what growth brings.
Well, I mean, that's a question that's kind of like, personally myself, I like small cities. I like being able to move around a small city with ease. And when I mean, everything comes with a problem, I think. So so we get that in those 1 million people, and we get the tax money that goes with it. But I guess my thought is also, we're also going to bring some problems with it too. So I'm kind of thinking that I really would like to kind of just concentrate on what we have and fixing what we have. Then I'm thinking having to fix something else, because I mean, I guess problems, well, we know problems are going to be no matter what, So I would love to have those people, sure, for that tax base, but for some other things, no. I mean, that's my own personal opinion.
But is this like you winning the lottery and me giving you $50 million and now you have other problems? I mean, nobody doesn't have problems. So Absolutely. When we're talking about, building the city, what are we talking about? I mean, I have that question, I mean, do we want 5,000 more people? Do we just want another snowplow? Do we want unlimited potential? Because that comes with, I don't know, problems is a tough word. These are all challenges and opportunities, and I don't know. Like you probably, there's a fresh market, right? A fresh market is generated by demand. So if you have enough people to shop at a fresh market, you will get a fresh market. Right. You can't just put it in where one won't work. So those kinds of things take care of themselves also. Those benefits come with more population. So, I mean, everything's a challenge and a trade-off, but I just see the economics of Niagara Falls being able to support 1 million people, more than 45,000 people. And do you want that? You know, and what would that look like? How can we possibly, you know, conceive of what that would look like? But that's what we can have. Maybe you don't want it. I don't know.
You know, like I said, I'd really, I mean, sure, it would be good, but at the same time, I think that there will be some problems with that. But I also don't want to see us left behind either. You know, I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's a hard, I mean, that's kind of something that's hard for me to wrap my head around. I've traveled a lot. I've been in big cities. I've been in different places. And I also look at it as how it's going to be set up. And, you know, is it going to continue? I keep thinking about that division, you know, and where these people are going to go. Are they going to be in downtown Niagara Falls so that the city really will thrive? Or are we putting them someplace else? You know what I'm saying? In these different little pockets. So even some of that concerns me. Are they going into the suburbs, or are they actually coming down to the city? Because a city is not a city unless you have people living in the city.
Okay, so I've been following this for a long time, and the casino was going to come in, right? 20 years ago. And I was told on television by the most high-ranking people in the county that you have no idea how good this is going to be, because all of those houses in the Memorial Park block area, they have great bones on those houses. Those are rehabbable, and they are going to be, because casinos generate jobs. Where are those people going to live? They're going to live right there, aren't they? You know, I was either lied to or something happened, right? Because the houses are still the same as they were 20 years ago. Couple good, some bad, some deteriorating, some boarded up. Evelyn, help me out. Here's my mentality of why I say it like this with this kind of passion, I guess, is I don't have any more time to wait. You know, like, I need that to happen or not. Quit lying to me, quit telling me fantasies, or really do it. But here's my problem with religion, and I just told you I was christened as one of the saints. It's always hope for tomorrow. It's always going to take a long time, and just, you know, salvation is coming, right? I don't like that anymore. I need it today. I at least need it in the next 20 years. So what is going to happen to, you know, Memorial Park Block Club area in the next 20 years? Because it didn't happen with the last promise. That's my frustration. What's our next promise? What's going to happen?
Again, I go back to the people here in Niagara Falls, and also, yes, it has to be a partnership, I feel, between the people and the people that are representing them. And in some cases, I definitely feel that we have not been represented the way we should be, whether it be because we're not getting money that we deserve from the state, or whether we are not having some things that should be done here in the city that have not been done. And I feel that this is what we're doing right now is positive. We are going in the right direction. The education of people, changing their minds about things. I think that has a lot to do with us getting to our goal. Okay.
What's our goal?
Yeah, I mean,
what's our goal? That's what I don't understand. What's our goal?
Well, I mean, our goal is to make this a livable city. Okay. Do I have all the answers? I mean, I know what I like to see. Of course, I would like to see the schools thriving down here, more schools maybe down in the city here with people that have families. Like I said, more grocery stores here, definitely more businesses here, you know, independently, people that live here owning those businesses. All of that I want to see in the city.
Yeah.
Okay. And getting there, I think that we're on the right track, but I think all of us together may be able to come up with that answer. One individual can't do it by themselves. I mean,
all of us are smarter than any of us. You're doing it again. You're playing to the audience. You're just stroking me now. I like it. We're talking with Evelyn Harris if you just came in. And Evelyn, I can't thank you for your time. And I'm only being this passionate because you are the person and people like you that have the experience that we need on this. We need your brain on this question, which is unanswerable. You know, like tackle something that is hard to do, plant a tree under which you will never sit, those kinds of things. There isn't necessarily an answer, but we can get close. And we need you. I mean, we just need people like you with experience to not give up, but to come back and say, I'm working on this too. I don't have the answer, but I'm here. I'm here. I haven't gone away. So let me phrase it this way now. Again, people that come through your door, you know, on Pine Avenue or that you know in the community. Tom Peters wrote the book years ago about this, that a lot of times a company will just do things for their employees, but the employees didn't ask for it. And that if you ask the employees what they want, it isn't what the company's giving them, so to speak. Like if you ask the employees, they may want a new coat of paint in the break room because it's really drab. A brighter light in the parking lot because I don't feel safe. This is 1982, so they wanted another phone in the break room to call home and check on their kids. None of that was expensive. The company instead was doing things that cost tens of thousands of dollars, which nobody wanted. So I would ask it that way, though, of, okay, so $46 million for a new state park welcome center. We had $25 million on Grand Island. We already had one on the turn circle there that John Percy is in. Is anybody asking you what you need? And what are the people walking through your doors? What would they need to make their day a little better? I bet it isn't a welcome center necessarily. It might be, you know, a fresh market or a job or, you know, something real. Economists are always debating economics, but, you know, people eat every day. They don't eat someday. You know, what are the people that you face day to day? What would make their lives significantly better?
Well, first of all, again, and I use this term again, starting from the bottom up and not the top down, because for whatever reason, it seems like always someone is telling you what you want, but no one seems to ever want to ask people what they want and how they can help to get to that. You understand what I'm saying? It's like, I think that first of all, like you have all this money that you're getting ready to put on Goat Island, but did you ever once bother to come to anybody here as a citizen of Niagara Falls? What would you think that would be good in Niagara Falls? Do you think this would be good on Goat Island? Do you think this money should be spent on Goat Island? Maybe a little bit of it, because I think that, okay, so you have that over there, but you still have a city that's sitting here that basically is not appealing to the eye.
Well, but the cold hard facts would be, let me just stop you there. That's their property. They don't have to ask you anything. You don't own that state park at all. You have no connection to that state park.
That's true, but well, you know what? I guess I'm kind of living in this technicolor dream right now. So yeah, so that would be my thought. Okay, it doesn't necessarily mean that when people get to a certain level, they seem to think that they need to think for everybody, whether they own something and it's theirs or not. They just feel that, oh, I can do whatever I want to do. Where if maybe they, you know, sure, I got this billions of dollars and I'm going to do all of this here. But now if it was a person that had any type of care about their neighbors or their people around them, they would say, hey, you know what do you think about this? Simple as that. Just talking to people, what we're doing. Just actually talking to people and communicating with them, and them communicating back with you, not talking to them and talking at them. You know what I'm saying? That's it.
Well, how often do you interact with your city council people?
As often as I see them. You
Do
know,
you
I mean,
see it?
for me, you know how I am with like, because I'm out in the community, so because I'm part of different things as far as my community garden. Anytime they come out to any of these events, then I'm always going to have a question about something, because I want to, or either ask them, well, what's going on, and what are we doing about this? Especially if I've asked a question before and I haven't gotten an answer, and then I'm going to try to follow up. I think that's the key thing. And if I have to track them down, I mean, why can't I have a meeting with the mayor? Why can't I have a meeting with one of the city council people? I mean, it's like, I think sometimes you got to push a little bit, pick up that phone and say, hey, listen, like a couple of weeks ago, I told you the light on such and such a street, and I've called all the people I needed to call, and so far that hasn't happened. So, I'm calling again, and I'm going to continue to call until I get another human being on this here phone to tell me what you are doing.
Yeah. Hey, let me ask you something specific here. I don't believe there's any job description for a city council person. Not that, there just isn't, but it's a job. Let's write one. You seem to have a lot of experience in business. Let's write one. I mean, together, and we'll ask some others. But we'll come up, because part of the thing too is, thank God that somebody's doing it. I want to be like that too. They're doing they're doing us a service by being a council person, and I don't want to call them at midnight or 3 a.m. I don't expect them to work 24/7 at a part-time job. So what are the parameters when I can reach out to them? What are the rules? What's their job? And maybe I'm reaching out to the city councilman about the space program. Obviously, that's not their rule, right? That's not their, lane. Will you help me somehow create a job description for a city council person?
Well, I think that, like it takes more than just me, and I'm going to call her out now. Ruth is one of those people. She's I mean, when
Well, a
Ruth
lot of us
gets
will do
on
this. We'll all
something,
do it.
yeah,
We'll all
when I have to tell you, when Ruth gets on something, it's like the fear of God gets in some people. Okay,
Yeah, it's very effective.
so yeah. I mean, it's going to take a lot of us, and I think that that's an absolutely great idea.
Yeah, because
And
I don't
I'm
want to
very
call them
willing
for
to
the
do that.
wrong reason, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
I want them to do the best job they can, and maybe this isn't their job, and I don't want to bother them. And we have it stinks to be a public official. Let me tell you, it can be a nightmare if you do it. Now you can run and hide and just take the money and never return calls, and sometimes you stay in office quite a long time. So I mean, it should just be more outrageous that the governor of New York is not taking questions from reporters. I know you're not a reporter and I'm not a reporter, but that's ridiculous. We don't pay the governor enough to be governor. It's not a money situation, but he wanted it. He asked for it. He wanted to do the job. Talk to people. If we don't talk to people, one of the first things I know Brian said to me before COVID, Brian Archie said that one of the things he does is try to get out to people on their porches, because with the internet age, people are texting more than they're talking to each other. Absolutely. And so that was valuable. So how do we talk to each other more? And the titular head of the government of New York State is setting the rule that we don't have to. Stick it to you. I don't want to talk to you. That's what I get from that. Children watch their parents and learn from their parents. We learn from our elders. We learn from the head of government. I don't have to talk to you. And that's a bad message.
Then you know what? That's when you put pressure on them. Like I said, I'm very active in my union, and like candidates come to us and talk to us, and the governor has come to us and talked to us too. So what my thought is right now that you've said
Governor came to you
then,
when? He came to Pine Avenue and talked to you?
Not Pine Avenue, New York City, because we have an office in the city. So that's where our headquarters is.
Create a Healthier Niagara Falls Collaborative has an office in Manhattan?
No. I'm talking about the union that I'm involved in. So for me, as an SEIU union member, I am going to pick up my phone. I'm going to call our president, and I'm going to say to him, like, listen, what is this about that the governor has decided that he doesn't want to talk to anybody? So my feeling is like, are we really going to support somebody again because I'm not going to come out of my door to get out there and hit the streets to bag him if he can't talk to reporters and answer questions that are pertinent questions to ask. I mean, sometimes you have to hit them where it's going to hurt a little bit. And for all of the millions of people that are in our union and are represented by our union, after a while, they're going to say, hey, you know, I hear that this is what he's doing. You know, this is not somebody that we're going to support. And I think that sometimes that again moves that needle for us, that, you know, he may, I mean, I can't get him out and make him talk, but if he hears that, okay, this group here is not going to support me in my next election, if I decide to run for something, they're going to be out there fighting against me.
You know, but
maybe he'll change his mind.
Part of growing up was that, you know, people used to tell you, don't do something you don't want to see on the front of the newspaper, right? Don't do anything. Don't be a, you know, don't do something in private you don't want to do in public, right? Now, we all do that. I'm not saying we're infallible, but we should try and live like that, right? So why does it have to come down to threatening the governor that we won't support him unless he talks? Why can't he just talk? I don't want to threaten the man. He's competent. He's able. He's our governor. I don't want to make threats.
You know what? Sometimes, you know, I guess my feeling is sometimes people need to have a wake-up call. Sometimes people, you know, in power get too comfortable where they are, and they forget that we, the people, are out here, and we, the people, are the ones that put you there. Okay, sometimes when you are not calling me back and not talking to me, and you just shut me off and just pretend that I'm not over there anymore, that I don't exist anymore. Sometimes, you know, I mean, it's just like people in your family. Like, you know, it's like, hello, did you forget that I'm your mother and you haven't called me in a little while? You know what I'm saying? It's like,
it's Mother's Day next week. You're playing to the audience. Hey, let's take a question from Ruth.
You know what I'm saying?
She's coming in.
Basically, yeah, you gotta wake them up sometimes. You gotta you gotta say to people sometimes, hey, we're still out here.
I know.
That's what I'm saying.
Hold that thought. Let's see what Ruth has. We invoked Ruth's name too many times. She couldn't put up with it anymore. Ruth, what do you got?
I just wanted to say hello to Evelyn, and I still have that nice front porch. You'll have to come down this summer.
Okay.
I haven't been invited to that front porch. I have a guest on.
I know Evelyn probably wouldn't know about this, but do we know, like I see Mr. Archie had also asked about the public information officer. When it comes to that visitors center, did our mayor or did our councilman know about this months ago? Or like, do we know if any of our local officials were aware of what was going on?
Don't know. There was an article in yesterday's paper, but it seems still too soon so far
to find out. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Ruth, I think Angelo has a question. I think that's Angelo, your state assemblyman. Maybe he can clear that up. Stick on the line there, Ruth.
True.
Good morning.
Angelo, is this Angelo Morinello?
Yes, it is, Tom.
No way. Welcome. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. Evelyn, good morning. I saw Evelyn the other day at the hospital. How are you, Evelyn?
Morning, good.
Good. I ended up with a little bit of a sore arm and a little bit tired the next day. I had my second shot. That's where I saw Evelyn. Tom, I'm trying to get on a local show only because you were booked. Let me explain something. There's been some misinformation. It is not a visitor center that the state is putting up. And in answer to your question, from what I understand, there was confusion on only one reporter because I saw every news station. I saw the Buffalo News there. I did see the Gazette there. So the press was notified. The elected officials, we were notified of an announcement, but not of the nature of the announcement. And in further discussions after, the concept is an orientation center, not a visitor center, as has been put out in the press and in the newspaper. And if you've ever been to any national parks or any other state parks in any other states, when you enter, there's always an orientation center to give you a little bit of a feel of what is there, what to look for as you go to that particular park or attraction. The difficulty with the existing one is when they put the new entrance in that took out the non-natural trees and opened it up so that it looked like it was the park in the city. There's no obstruction there whatsoever. That building blocked the view of the entrance. And there was a stairway that was closed that was finally open. That had to do with the concessionaire trying to get people through the building, which was not the proper thing to do. So the new building will be off to the side. And when you enter into the park and you get to the top, it will have a staircase going right to the falls. So it's improving an attraction. The visitor center, it is not a visitor center. And unfortunately, because they didn't really know what to name it, the press picked up and called it a visitor center. Our official visitor center is the tourism office where John Percy is. It's USA Niagara, I believe, Niagara, USA, or Visit Niagara. They changed the name. So if you look at the whole concept, additionally, what I need to add, and it wasn't that clear in the reports, the Ralph Wilson Foundation put in $8 million. The reason being is the Ralph Wilson Foundation's money has been utilized to put in the trails and paths along the gorge going all the way to Buffalo. So going to north, they want to be able to allow you to get to Rochester so you could hike or bike. Going towards Buffalo, what they're doing is right now you take that trail past Grand Island, you go into the park where the Century Club used to be. Now that shows my age because most people don't know where the Century Club, Evelyn is laughing. And then you get out to to River Road, you go down River Road, you get to the Tonawondas. So there is a seamless path for walking and hiking along the edges. So this is going to function also as the trailhead going east and west on those hiking paths. The answer to the question earlier is along the gorge, that is state property. They will maintain it. And I look at it a little differently, Tom. I look at it as we are getting things, we need to know how to embrace them. I feel the state through the years, and I'm talking about from when I was on the bench, has put a plan together to assist Niagara Falls. There has been money given. There's been poverty initiative money. The difficulty is over the last 12 years, other than our new mayor, we have nothing to show for it. 170 million from the casino funds should have been revitalizing the properties. I look at Niagara Falls, Tom, as a wheel. You have to strengthen the hub of a wheel before you can go to the end of the spokes and put the rim on. If you don't have a strong hub and you don't have those spokes attached, nothing's going to work. The wheel's always going to either be wobbly or broke. Yeah, Tom, I'm sorry.
We're at the end of the show, so we're out of time.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to come on maybe. I'll let you know. I'll text you when I have time. Evelyn, I'm sorry I took your time.
No, but let me just ask you one thing to follow up because it was a civics question. You were notified there would be a state announcement, but you never were notified of what that announcement would be.
No, but that's not unusual. It's happened before, Tom, in various things. Okay, but there was.
Just wanted to make sure that was the case. So you're coming on in 1 or 2 weeks, or whenever you wanted to let me know.
Yeah, let me. Next week's Mother's Day. Let me talk to you during the week, okay? Because I did give you my number. The other thing is, almost every reporter and every news station, they call me direct. I don't work through my staff. A reporter, either in written or newspaper or television or radio, they can call me direct, and I always talk to them.
All right, I know we're out of time, but you are one of those ones that I said was good. But do you recognize that the governor does not and that a lot of other officials do not? I mean, you can be all you want, but it's a problem for reporters. Do you
Uh,
sense that or no?
Oh, I do. I absolutely
Okay.
do.
It
Okay?
is.
Oh, absolutely.
It is.
Evelyn, thank you for giving me some of your time.
No, thank you. All right.
Thank you.
All right. Evelyn, creating a healthier Niagara Falls Collaborative. We're going to run that information, the website link, when we post the rest of, this interview online. I can't thank you enough. And we're together. You're going to help us with, or at least be on the panel to discuss, create a job description for the city council
Absolutely.
moving forward. Thank you so much, Evelyn.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Have a great day.
Yeah,
Thank
everybody
you,
have a
Evelyn.
good day.
Thanks, Assemblyman. Thanks, Ruth. Thanks, everybody else. Have a great week.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.